Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego, and it's time for a live stream. Green card questions, K1 visa questions, K2 visa questions, spousal visa questions. Whatever questions you have, join us on the live stream and I will answer your questions for free. I'm not an immigration attorney, I don't work for USCIS, and I don't give you legal advice, but I got 12 years experience processing green cards and K1 visas. And my beautiful wife, Karina, is from Venezuela, and she is a testament to our hard work, our sweat equity, and obviously our patience in putting this package together. Karina has her 2-year green card, and she had her scary visa interview at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia, back in November 2023. I was actually in Colombia with her when she did her visa interview. She has a 2-year green card, and she got issued that in June of 2024. So next year, actually in March of 2026, is when we're going to apply for her 10-year green card. We already have most of it put together. We just have to fill out Form 751, fill out Form G1650 so that the immigration folks can get paid the $750, which is how much it costs as of October 29th, 2025, to pay for a 10-year green card, to lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card. Remember, a 2-year green card doesn't expire. It goes away and becomes non-existent. 2-year green card is exactly what it is. It's good for 2 years, and then it goes away. Then it goes away. You have to lift the conditions off of it in order to get your 10-year green card. Excuse me, I was coughing there. Crazy weather, right? It's what? I don't know what's the weather outside. It's about 70 degrees, something like that here in the panhandle of beautiful Florida. About, a good 30-minute drive from the beautiful beaches of our panhandle. Now, Karina likes the beach, I tell you. She was born and raised in Caracas, Venezuela. Then she relocated to Bogota, Colombia in July of 2018. We met each other in Bogota, Colombia, and in August of 2021, and the rest is history. I lived in Colombia with her for about 3 years, and then she came to the United States on a K1 visa. We got married here in Florida, and then she got her 2-year green card in about 3 months. And after she got her 2-year green card, now we're just going to work on putting her 10-year green card paperwork together. And it's an easy thing to do. You just got to be patient, and you don't need an immigration attorney to do all this, and you just have to pay attention to detail. It's like a military operation, right? I was in the Navy for 20 years. So it's like a military operation. You got to focus on the paperwork. Don't make any spelling mistakes. Don't make any typos, etc., etc., etc. Now it's getting closer to November. And as of yesterday, October 28th, today is October 29th, but as of yesterday, immigration, USCIS, is no longer accepting paper checks, cashier's checks, money orders. You cannot send a check to USCIS anymore. You have to submit Form G1650 or 1640, which is for the credit card. But I don't recommend you use the credit card for this process. Use your debit card. Excuse me. Use your debit card. Give the bank the 1650. You fill out the 1650. Now this is right before you file for the K1 visa, right before you file for the 2-year green card, right before you pay for your benefit, right before we pay for our 751, our 10-year green card application. We will fill out the Form G1650, go to the bank, show the bank the form and say, hey, don't block this transaction. This is required for immigration to get paid. We are giving immigration permission to go into our savings account or checking account and take the money out to pay for Karina's 10-year green card. So if you are getting ready to mail off a green card application or a visa application, you cannot write a paper check anymore. If you do, it's going to be sent back to you. You got to use Form G1650, which is the debit card paper. That's what I would use. You can use your credit card too if you want, but to me, it's not worth it. Estelle Lemagum, hey, what's going on? After getting your visa, your green card, and your citizenship, what is the next step? So you get your K1 visa, come to America, you get your 2-year green card, you apply for your 10-year green card, and then you become a U.S. citizen after being married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years. What is the next step after you become a U.S. citizen? Well, you'll get issued a naturalization certificate, and there's no other next step. You get your naturalization paperwork. You are now an American citizen, naturalized American. Your alien registration number is going to be on the naturalization certificate. You're never going to lose the alien registration number. You always have that. But that's it. No more paperwork, no more immigration interviews, no more USCIS. Once you become a citizen, you are able to apply for a U.S. passport. You can register to vote. You can travel freely around the world on your U.S. passport without fear of being interrogated by immigration. Although you could still be interrogated, but it's not because of your citizenship status. It could be something else, right? But that's it. Once you become a citizen, you get naturalized, you get your naturalization paperwork. Don't lose the naturalization certificate. When you get your naturalization certificate, don't lose it. Okay? Because if you lose it, you're going to have to apply for a new one. And if you have to apply for a new one, it's going to take 6, 8, 9, 10 months to get it, and it's going to cost you a dump truck load of money. It's going to be expensive. It's a very expensive mistake if you lose your naturalization certificate. Same is true with your green card. If you lose your green card, don't lose your green card, okay? Because it's going to take 6, 9, 10 months to get a new one, okay? That's just the way things are operating right now with immigration. So you got your green card, don't lose it. But you got to carry your green card around with you everywhere you go. Like today, Karina, I took her to the dentist. We drove over to the dentist for her teeth cleaning. Wonderful doctor, beautiful office, very nice lady. The doctor, her dentist, speaks fluent Spanish, so he could explain to her everything in Spanish. And she had her green card with her. There was a gentleman in Chicago. Okay, he got, I don't know where he was walking down the street, and an ICE officer pulled him aside and said, "I need to see your green card." And he said, "I don't have it. It's at my house or in my apartment." And the ICE officer said, "You got to have your green card with you at all times." So he wrote him up and got fined $130. Why? Because he didn't have his green card on his person. It was in his apartment. So if you are going to the dentist, or if you're going to the gym, or if you're going to work, or if you're going on a trip to the mall, I don't care where you're going, you got to have your green card with you at all times. When Karina goes to her job where she works, she has her green card in her locker, in her purse. Okay? So if immigration enter her business where she works, and they ask to see everybody's green card, who are legal permanent residents, Karina will go to her locker, open up her locker, and then here's my green card. But if she told immigration, "Oh, my green card's at the house," okay, she'll be fined $130, or more, even depends on the immigration officer. And then it's going to be a problem when you apply for U.S. citizenship if you've been cited with a misdemeanor for not carrying your green card. Estelle Lemagum, scary visa interview. Okay. When is the scary visa interview? When is it? Are you in the process for that? Chris Stout, no, he didn't drop it to half point today, but we drop a quarter point from Colin Powell. What are you talking about? Are you talking about interest rates at the Federal Reserve? Chris, what are you talking about? No, he didn't drop it to 0.5 point today. He, as in who? And what? Interest rates. Interest rates will come down, are coming down a little bit, and that's going to make a certificate of deposits. When interest rates come down, when the Federal Reserve lower interest rates, then the interest rates will be reduced in your savings and checking account and money market accounts too. Estelle, my wife just passed. Okay, well, congratulations. Mountain Dew salute for passing the scary K1 visa 2-year green card interview. That's what it was, right? The 2-year green card interview. Estelle, she went for the 2-year green card interview. Now, the interview isn't scary. It's not really scary. I just say it's scary because it's not. It's just a routine formality that's got to be done. So, Chris Stout, is it good to be going down? Interest rates coming down are good if you want to buy stuff. If you are trying to invest your money in certificate of deposits, money market accounts, then the interest rates are going to come down and you won't make as much money in interest on your money market accounts. But if you're looking to buy a house or buy a car, invest in something that's a large amount of money, then it's a good thing. And it will boost the economy. When interest rates come down, it boosts the economy. So it's all good. Let's see what happens. I think President Trump is making deals right now with South Korea, with Japan. And it would have been nice if the North Koreans would quit firing missiles and instead start talking to President Trump about how they can open up their country and become a part of this global economy. But they just want to keep on building missiles and shooting missiles, and the people continue to suffer. And he's gonna negotiate a deal with China, and I think also he negotiated a deal with Brazil while he was in Asia. So the whole world understands that President Trump ain't playing games when it comes to our economy. Okay, for many decades, the United States has always been the one paying the price and losing money globally with imports versus exports. But that's over with. Now we're making money. And the tariffs are doing great for the Treasury Department because it's going to help pay off that horrendous debt that we have accumulated thanks to the Congress of the United States who keep spending money we don't have. Chris Stout, I didn't watch it, so I don't know what's going on. Well, Trump is negotiated deals with Japan, with South Korea, with China, and with Brazil. Rooster, hello Diego, what's going on? Rooster, how are you? How's your family? How's everybody doing? It's a great day, right? It's almost November, then it's going to be Thanksgiving, then it's going to be Christmas, and then it's going to be 2026. And 2026, I think, is going to be a good year because income tax, personal income tax, the deductions are being reduced, so we're not going to get ripped off as much as we have been over the years by the Internal Revenue Service fleecing all this money out of our wallets. And what do they spend it on? Who knows? Chris Stout, so what's going on with the war in Karina's hometown? There's no war in Karina's hometown. You're talking Caracas, Venezuela? There's no war in Venezuela. Now, Nicolas Maduro, the communist dictator, is trying to scare everybody into thinking there is, because he's just a bus driver who thinks he's president, and he's a coward, and he's your typical left-wing communist dictator who thinks that he can scare the people into submission. President Trump is not scared of Nicolas Maduro, the bus driver who thinks he's the president of Venezuela. But there's no war in Venezuela. 80% of the people in Venezuela want Maduro gone, as in no longer president, as in no longer in the country, because once Maduro's gone, then the real president of Venezuela can return to Venezuela and then the U.S. Embassy can reopen in Caracas. And once the U.S. Embassy opens up in Venezuela, then K-1 visas will be produced or adjudicated, not produced. They'll be adjudicated, spousal green cards, tourist visas, hopefully for the Venezuelans. So, but we got Maduro has to leave, and his inner circle of communists, they have to go somewhere other than where they're at. And that's what President Trump is basically trying to say in so many words when he sends a carrier battle group into the Caribbean Sea. When a carrier battle group shows up on your doorstep with fast attack submarines, it's probably a good idea to ask, why is that carrier battle group sitting off the side of my country? Well, it's because we are not going to put up with all those drugs flowing into the United States, either from Colombia or from Venezuela. Chris Stout, they're saying it may be foot soldiers. The United States isn't going to put ground troops into Venezuela. All you got to do is park an aircraft carrier off the coast with invisibility of Maduro's bathroom when he's taking showers, and that will be enough. Rooster, nothing new here. Still waiting for the green card interview. Maybe next New Year, New Orleans is slow. Well, you think New Orleans is slow. It's actually the whole process is under a revision, and everybody's green card, everybody's K-1 visa is being looked at a lot harder. When you file for a K-1 visa, it goes through 2 security checks now, not just one like it used to. And K-1 and green cards are being investigated a lot more thoroughly. But if you are in a real relationship with somebody, if you have a real you got a real deal going on, you got nothing to worry about. You just got to qualify for the green card. It's no big deal. I'm sure Karina and I, we file for Karina's 10-year green card I think we'll file like March 31st of 2026. We'll file for it, and it'll be investigated thoroughly because Karina's obviously from Venezuela, but she lived in Colombia for 6 years, so they're going to check that out. It's just a big police check is what it is. Chris Stout, still waiting on wife's card, is still pending, waiting updates. Right, just keep checking your online account, but don't be checking it like every 30 minutes. You know, some people, they check their online account every 5 minutes. What's the status? What's the status? You're going to get brain cell damage if you do that. When I filed for Karina's K-1 visa from here, right here in Florida, I checked her status online once a month on the 30th of every month. Just every month, once a month, I would check the status. Rooster, no RFE so far, just says processing at the National Benefits Center. Yeah, you're good. Nothing to worry about. But we're going to put MAGA pixie dust all over your application. All right? This MAGA pixie dust, this is the K-1 Visa Green Card Super Lucky 2025 pixie dust. Now in 2024, it was blue. Now, this was the pixie dust for 2024. Okay? But this year, 2025, is red. Okay? And don't forget to keep copies of all your paperwork before you mail it off to USCIS. You mail off your K-1 visa to USCIS, the service center in Louisville, Texas. Make 2 copies of it. A copy for your beneficiary and a copy for you. And then you're going to mail the original paperwork off, but not the original documents. You never send original paperwork or documents. You don't send your original birth certificate or original death certificates, or you don't send your original paperwork to immigration. You always send certified courthouse copies or certified copies. Like if you have a divorce under your belt or 2 divorces under your belt, you need to include certified copies with your K-1 visa application, the 2-year green card application, the 10-year green card application. And Rooster, dump the whole bottle on me. All right, let's do it. Come on. All right, Rooster, let's do that. Okay, so the lid is off. So, there you go. You got the whole bottle of pixie dust right there. Now, Rooster is a member of this channel. And Rooster, if you text me your address, actually text Karina your address, we will send you a free bag of coffee from Karina's coffee company that she started, which is going to go live in January. January 1st, 2026, Karina's coffee company goes live online. Well, actually, that's when we're going to start selling the coffee. But if you've been a member of this channel for 4 months or longer, if you text me or Karina your address, we will ship you a free bag of coffee for your patronages. We appreciate your loyalty to the channel. Help you, we appreciate you being a member of the channel. If you don't want any coffee, we'll send you a mug if you prefer a coffee mug. Karina. Or if you don't want a coffee mug, we'll send you a keychain or a sticker. We'll send you something. Brownie RSPS, what's going on? Hello, Diego. Now, Brownie RSPS is from the United Kingdom, and now you are living in the great state of Missouri, correct? Rooster, this delay allows me to get more evidence going to get around my vision plan during the open season. There you go. So always look at the bright side of things. Always look at the positive side of things. Look at what is the positive process, not the negative. The positive is you qualify for the benefit. Your income is good enough. Everything you didn't make any mistakes on the paperwork. If you are waiting for a K1 visa interview, if you are waiting for a green card interview, you didn't mess anything up. Rooster, will do, Diego. I love coffee. Okay, Rooster. Well, you text. You have our cell number and phone number. Text Karina your address. Say this is Rooster. Your address. And we will ship you a free bag of coffee from Karina's brand new coffee company that goes active January 1st. Brownie RSPS, I had my green card interview yesterday, right? At Kansas City, Missouri. I was approved after 2 questions. Well, look at you. What's yours and your spouse's name? Well, you better know that. And where do you live? Well, you know why you passed with 2 questions. Number 1, you had all this MAGA pixie dust all over your paperwork, right? And you had copious amounts of Mountain Dew salutes over the last year or so, right? And you listened to my advice and followed my advice, and you did everything like you should, and here you go. Now you're just going to wait for the green card to get mailed to you. Chris Stout, circling around for the Social Security news. Is it going up? Yeah, Social Security has, I think the COLA increase is 2.7 or 2.8%. It's one or the other. Hey, Rooster, go ahead and text Karina your address so we have it, and we'll send you a bag of coffee. Maybe before January, because it's a gift, and we don't have to file a tax return on it. Brownie RSPS, I think it was just a formality. LOL. Yeah, it was a formality. If you are well qualified for the benefit, immigration's already investigated you and everybody else that's going for a green card. And if they have thoroughly investigated you, the rule says you got to have an interview. That's what the law says. So you have the interview. Depending on how good your green card application was, depends on how many questions you get at the green card interview. If you submit a fantastic green card application with a sweat equity of 10 out of 10, then you're going to have an easy day. The same is true for the K1 visa interview at the embassy or the consulate. If you submit a fantastic K1 visa application with a ton of evidence, you've been dating somebody for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you've made 2, 3, or 4 trips to see your beneficiary, you got evidence out the yin yang, you've been on so many dates together, you've tried every single restaurant in Bogota, Colombia, like Karina and I did, then it's a breeze. It's a formality, like you said. Brownie, thank you so much for all of your help. No, I'm glad to be here to help you. There's lots of folks don't know how to do this green card application, and they're paying a ton of money to an immigration attorney to do it for them. And then they realized it wasn't so difficult to do, and they realized that they just threw their money away. But if you hang out with Diego, sometimes Karina will be with me, but she's been working hard. And today she had her dentist appointment. She had her dental cleaning, so her gums are like chewed up from the dental cleaning, so she's resting right now. But, I'm here to help you get your green card and your K-1 visa. I got 12 years experience doing this. Okay, for 12 years, I've been processing K-1 visas and green cards. Brownie RSPS paid $9.99 a month to Diego and Karina instead. The best money I ever spent. Well, there you go. That's a Mountain Dew salute. That's how much it costs to join as a member. $9.99 a month. And once you've been a member for 4 months, you get a free bag of Karina's coffee, or you get a mug, or a T-shirt. Maybe we'll do some T-shirts. We'll give away some keychains, some stickers. We're putting all this together for the business. Christoph, so we will get more money back this year in taxes since everything is going good. You get more money back. It all depends on how much money you make and what you deduct if you do deductions. I'm not a CPA at all by any means. Okay, I'm not an accountant, but the deductions for married couples went up. So that means less money to the government for them to waste on all kinds of garbage, more money for you to spend on things for your family, right? Because you know how to save or spend your money much better than the government does. And President Trump knows that. That's why he's trying to revamp the whole freaking government, basically. He's trying to revamp the whole thing. The IRS, Homeland Security, the military, Department of the Treasury, the Department of State, the Department of War. He's revamping the entire federal government. He's turning it upside down and emptying all the pockets out and fixing everything that's wrong with the federal government. And he's doing a great job. Now, I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm independent. I'm conservative. Okay? I don't look at a person's D or R after them. If you got a D after your name or an R after your name, it's irrelevant to me. I just want to know what the heck you're doing as a politician to follow the Constitution of this great republic that we live in. So that's the way I adjudicate a politician, by their constitutional integrity. Not that's it. I don't care what they are, if they're a Republican, Democrat, if they're following the Constitution, if they're keeping taxes low, if they're bringing down inflation, if they're reducing the size of the federal government from the bloated monstrosity that it's been for the last 50 years, you got my vote. That's how it works. Okay? Doesn't matter. I've seen Republicans do the same stupid stuff as Democrats. So in my opinion, they both do the same stupid stuff. Members of Congress, senators. But for the most part, Republicans seem to have the clearer sense of how to run this country in regards to constitutional governance. The Democrats seem to be turning into a communist enclave. The Democrat Party under John F. Kennedy no longer exists. Okay? Now we have the Democrat Party of AOC and Bernie Sanders, and they're communists. So do communists recognize constitutional governance? No, they don't. But you got to learn all this stuff if you want to become an American citizen. If you want to become a U.S. citizen, you got to learn about the history of our country. You got to learn about the Constitution, how it works. You got to know that this is a republic, not a democracy. When politicians say we're a democracy, I want to go find somewhere and throw up, because we're not a democracy. In a democracy, winner takes all, and the minorities get no voice. In a republic, it doesn't matter if the Republicans win or the Democrats win. Somebody's still going to have representation. You know, if you are a Democrat right now and you feel like you lost the election, you still have representation in Congress. Why? Because we're a republic. Same is true with Republicans. When they didn't have control of the Congress, the Republicans still had a representation for people who are Republican. That's how a republic works. Colombia is a republic. That's why Petro, the communist dictator of Colombia, he's totally incompetent. That's why he can't push his communist agenda forward, because it's a republic, and the members of Congress are blocking Petro from his insane ideology. But they have an election coming up. I believe it's in May in Colombia, and then Petro is going to be no longer the president. Brownie RSPS, I feel so relaxed now. I just slowly gather evidence over the next 21 months. There you go. For the 10-year green card, enjoy life with my wife. I am obviously shocked how the interview went. Well, I'm glad it was a good shock, okay, and not a negative shock. But when you put together a fantastic green card application, the immigration folks are going to thoroughly investigate it. And then you go to the scary visa interview or green card interview. They look, and if you put together a really good green card package with lots of evidence, you're good. It's just going to be routine. Brownie RSPS, I spent days thinking of any and every question they could have asked me, and that's good. And Karina's doing the same thing for her 10-year green card. Okay? Karina's 10-year green card application is like this thick. And we're going to mail it off on March 31st. And then she's going to get a letter, a notice of action letter, 797, saying, thank you, Karina. We have received your 10-year green card application. This letter is to tell you that your 2-year green card, although it is expired, it has been extended for 48 months while we adjudicate your 10-year green card. That's how it works. You like my hat from Venezuela? Karina got me this in Venezuela. It's from Caracas, in support of all the beautiful people in Venezuela who are waiting for that communist dictator Maduro to be vacated from the hallowed grounds of the presidential palace in Caracas. Because all he is a thug bus driver. Now, I'm not saying bus drivers are thugs. I'm just saying that's what he was. He was a bus driver. He's a thug. He's a communist. And he is going to he's going to have to find someplace else to live. Now there's a carrier battle group fixing to be sitting off of his backyard. That's a good sign that he should not be in Venezuela any longer. Brownie RSPS, I hope it goes well and the interview gets waived for the 10-year. Yeah, there's a good chance. Now listen, when you apply for the 10-year green card, you don't have to repeat the medical exam. You don't have to include Form I-94. You don't have to include a copy of your K-1 visa, because those forms are now irrelevant, okay? When you apply for your 10-year green card, you're going to fill out this form right here. Look it up online and investigate it so you can get an understanding. You need to find USCIS Form I-751. That's what you're going to fill out for your 10-year green card when you lift the conditions off your 2-year temporary green card. Remember, a 2-year green card is just like a probationary. You got 2 years to see if you like living in America, you're happy with your new husband or wife, and you're compatible, and you're willing to adapt and assimilate and become American. That's what it is. I mean, if you don't like this country, if you don't like the way this country runs, then go back to where you came from. That's just my opinion. Rooster, we are still filing away the utility bills and bank statements. It's going to be a lot. Yeah. Karina and I have been collecting utility bills and bank statements since January of 2024. It is now October 2025. Soon it's going to be November. And then in 4 months after that, we're going to be sending out her 10-year green card application. So we're going to have about 20 bank statements, 20 water bills, 20 trash bills, 20 electric bills, et cetera, et cetera. So what goes in a 10-year green card application? Certified copy of the marriage certificate, number one. You cannot make a copy of your marriage certificate at Office Depot or the library. You got to have a certified copy of your marriage certificate certified by the clerk of the court. Staple a business card in the bottom left-hand corner of your certified marriage certificate of the clerk of the court. Get the clerk of the court's business card. Staple it. Okay? If you have any divorces under your belt, get certified copies of your divorce decree or decrees. Certified copies from the courthouse. Like I said, you cannot get, if you submit a Office Depot color copy of your marriage certificate and divorce decree, your entire 10-year green card application will be sent back to you. Your entire 2-year green card application will be sent back to you. They have to be certified from the courthouse. Brownie RSPS, it's so cheap to get them done. We got like 7 copies for like $20. Yeah. The economy in the United States is good. Have you seen the price of gas lately? Unless you live in California. I mean, if you live in California, my condolences, because the price of gas, all the oil refineries are closing down mostly. Oil refineries that refine oil into gasoline, they're closing in California. They're moving to Texas because they can't do business in California because California is ran by an incompetent communist governor. So it's $2.60 a gallon where you live. And I bet when Biden was president, it was $4 a gallon, $5 a gallon, right? Now it's $2.60 a gallon in Missouri. It's about the same price here, $2.60. That's about the same here. But it used to be $3.50, $4 a gallon. In California, the price of gas is going to be around $8 a gallon once all the oil refineries close. California used to be a wonderful place to live. A good economy, low rent, high wages, but now it's just a homeless encampment ran by communists. I think the communists want everybody broke and in misery. Brownie RSPS, Americans would cry at the British gas prices. Yeah, I bet. And I think in the United Kingdom, you have to buy gasoline or petrol, right? You call it. You got to pay by the liter, right? You got to pump by the liter. And how many liters are in a gallon? So it's basically what? I don't know, 2 point something, 3.3 gallons, 3 liters to a gallon. I don't know. So the price of gasoline or petrol in the United Kingdom is probably crazy high because England is a socialist country. The government of England right now are socialists, right? Borderline communists. You need to, I mean, and when the conservatives were in power in the United Kingdom, even they didn't do a very good job. So when the conservatives were in power, they did a lousy job. And then the Labour Party socialists are in power and they're doing a lousy job. You got to put somebody in there that's independent. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sticking my nose into British politics because that's their business. I mean, I don't, the Brits have to suffer it. I just look at what's going on in the United States and how much the price of gas, determines how strong the economy is pretty much. When you have low gas prices, you got a strong economy because it costs money to move goods around the United States in trucks. When the diesel was so expensive, the price of food went up in all the stores around the USA because it cost so much money to ship the goods around the country. And that was an intent by the Biden administration. Shut down oil production, raised the price of gasoline and diesel, and it drove the price of food triple, quadruple. Insane, right? Now, the gasoline prices are getting under control because Trump's opened up all the gasoline, oil drilling, and everything else. The supply has increased. So gallon of gas is cheaper. So inflation's getting slowly under control. Brownie RSPS, it's about a liter, about $1.34 per liter. So how many liters are in a gallon? About 4 to 5? Probably 4, about 5 liters per gallon. So there's about 5 liters to a gallon of gas. and it's $1.77 per liter. That's insane. Who can afford that? And I bet you 50% of the price of gasoline in England is taxes, feeding the piggies in the Labour and the government of Steimer. All those piggies in the House of Commons have got their noses in the taxpayer trough, sucking on the money, right? 1 gallon is 0.26 of a gallon. 1 liter is 0.26 of a gallon. Okay, I gotcha. But when you have socialist governments in control, they want high taxes because they think that your money belongs to them and that they can spend it on all the crap they want to waste it on. You know, give it away to illegal immigrants or give them free health care. You know, that's how insane the governments are around the world, not just in England, but France is a good example. I mean, they're a socialist country, right? Europe has basically gone socialist. Russia lost the Putin. He's invading Ukraine. What was that all about? I mean, totally, it's just ridiculous. Because, you know, the Ukrainians are, you know, like second cousins of the Russians. It's like you know, it's like somebody, you know, attacking grandma or their uncle. Starmer's problem, honestly, glad to be out of there. Yeah. The British people, I'm sure, didn't bank on the Prime Minister Starmer on doing the things that he's doing for the British economy. I mean, so you got free healthcare, the National Health Service, but is it really free? You pay a horrendous amount of money in taxes to the government, so you get your free national health care. So there's a 2-year waiting list for whatever, right? I'd rather live under a capitalist economy, a free market economy. Thank goodness for the United States. My nose is itchy. Thank goodness for this great country that we have here in America. And Trump is making this country great again, like he promised. Now, like I said, I'm not advocating for the Republican Party. They're just as that. I got no time for them, and I got no time for the Democrats. But Trump is an independent capitalist, and nobody can control him because he's a billionaire. So there's none of these people under the table in the deep state who can control Trump because he's telling them to pack sand. They can't control him. They can't buy him off. Brownie RSPS, yeah, I think we pay like 150 pounds a month. 150 pounds, so that's what, about $200, $250 for national insurance, which is NHS fees. Plus you got VAT on everything you buy in the store, right? The value added tax, the VAT. So you pay your national insurance tax, you pay your VAT, your value added tax. You got to buy a TV license. If you want to watch TV, you got to pay the government. You got to get the government's permission to watch TV in England, right? You got to buy a license for the TV. And then obviously you got to pay for the road usage, or they have like a license, like a little round sticker you got to put in the window of your car to pay. Yeah, 20% for the VAT. So living in England is very expensive. So it's a great place to go for a vacation, but that's it. I don't know why you got all these illegal immigrants trying to sneak into England from across the English Channel. Why would they want to live there? The weather sucks. Taxes are crazy. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But at least the embassy's open, right? The U.S. embassy's open, so green cards and K1 visas are getting adjudicated, and Brownie made it to the United States. Start a business. Do something like, Karina started her own coffee business. I'm looking at starting to printing T-shirts. Brownie RSPS. Yeah, they even renovated it recently for some reason. The embassy in London's brand new. Why would they want to renovate it? The Obama administration paid for the U.S. embassy in Grosvenor. No, it's in London. It's not in Grosvenor Square anymore. Why is it? I mean, it's like $1 billion freaking embassy. Now it's being renovated? For what reason? Maybe the people that constructed the new embassy in London were foreign nationals from other countries that weren't so friendly with the United States. And maybe they were planting bugs all around the US Embassy in London. Somebody found one, and now they have to go look for them all and pull all those bugs out. Yeah, they're renovating the new one. The old one was perfectly fine, right? In Grosvenor Square. When I went on vacation to England in 1996, I went to the US Embassy in Grosvenor Square because that's like home base for me, right? I checked in, told them I'm on vacation, and they said, okay, you're good. I gave them my address in England, the hotel I stayed at. I told them my plans for the vacation. I was going to go here, I was going to go here, I was going to go there. And they logged it in the computer thing or whatever they used. So and it was in Grosvenor Square. The embassy in London was fine. Now, if you are an American citizen and you're going to vacation somewhere for a month, you can go online and check in with the embassy, the US Embassy. Go online and register your vacation. I recommend you do that. You go, if you're an American citizen and you're going to go to the Philippines for a month for a vacation or 2 months, check into the US Embassy in Manila and register your address, your name, and your phone number and email address with the embassy. So then that way, if something happens, the US Embassy can contact you. You can register your family's name in the United States. You know, your mom, your dad, your wife, your brother, sister, your point of contact. And I recommend that if you do that, if you're a U.S. citizen and you're going to, let's suppose you want to go like when I went to live in Colombia for 3 years with Karina, I registered all my information with the U.S. Embassy in Bogota. This is my home address in Florida. This is my address in Colombia. This is my phone number in Colombia. This is my email address. And I would get emails, every couple of weeks or every month. They'd send me an email. There's a demonstration on this street in Bogota. Don't go there. So it's just an idea, food for thought, right? I mean, you don't have to do that, but that's what I did, and I'm glad I did, because the U.S. Embassy in Colombia knew I was in Colombia. They knew Diego was in Colombia, and they asked, "What's the reason for your being in Colombia?" I put there, I am with my fiance working a K1 visa application. So they already knew. So when Karina's K1 visa showed up at the embassy in Bogota, they matched it to my phone number and they knew I was in Colombia because I was registered with the embassy. This is just stuff, that's information I'm giving you, just food for thought. Brownie, RSPS. So I'm moving to Tennessee next year. You got to notify USCIS. You have to, and your sponsor also. Your sponsor, okay, notify if you move. If you move. Right, I'll type it out. If you move. Beneficiary, and sponsor must notify USCIS in 10 days after moving. Okay, I'm writing it out so you can read it. If you move, the beneficiary, not the beneficiary, the beneficiary and the sponsor must notify USCIS in 10 days after moving. There are 2 separate forms. Okay, let me fix that typo. There's 2 separate forms. Okay. I think it's the the 865, I think, for the sponsor, and the AR11. I think it's form AR11 for the beneficiary. And there's another form for the sponsor. But you got to notify immigration. I've made a video about it. Brownie RSPS, thank you. We're moving to be closer to my wife's family and save up for a mortgage. Okay, we'll both mail them the day we leave. Well, as long as you know the address where you're going to be living at. There are 2 forms you got to fill out if you move. You can do it online for the beneficiary, but I don't recommend you do it online. I recommend you mail it and you make a copy of the form. So you fill out, I believe it's the AR11 for the beneficiary, fill out the form, mail it to USCIS. And then the sponsor, Mr. Brownie, you're going to fill out another form for sponsor, make a copy of it, and mail it to USCIS. And send it certified mail so you can prove that you sent it. And then you're covered. So what happens if a beneficiary and sponsor move and they don't notify USCIS? What happens if you move and you don't tell USCIS? Well, I'm an American citizen. I don't have to tell USCIS where I live. It's none of their freaking business. Well, here's what happens. If you move, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, and you don't tell USCIS, you can be fined $250,000. You can be put in jail. Okay? You can be charged federally. If the beneficiary doesn't notify immigration, if he or she moves after 10 days of moving, you could lose your green card. You could be blocked from becoming a U.S. citizen. You can be blocked from getting a 10-year green card. Now, you got to pay attention, class. There was a young lady. She went for a U.S. citizenship interview. She was from the Philippines. She moved from the Philippines to New York. She couldn't stand New York because the place really sucks with taxes. So they relocated to Texas, but they didn't tell immigration. Well, she applied for U.S. citizenship, and when she filled out her N-400, the address didn't match the address on file with immigration when she filed for the green card. So she went to her U.S. citizenship interview, and they said, "Did you move recently?" "Well, no, I moved 2 years ago." "Oh, why didn't you notify immigration?" "What do you mean? I got to notify immigration?" "Well, yeah." So they denied her U.S. citizenship and told her to reapply in 5 years. So she lost 5 years. She had to wait another freaking 5 years before she can apply for citizenship because she moved and her sponsor moved and didn't notify immigration. Yeah, it can be seen as to avoid immigration. That's pretty serious. Yeah, it can be construed as you're trying to evade immigration. If immigration don't know where you are, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, that's a huge problem. They need to be able to come to your house and see that you're actually living where you say you are living. So let's suppose when you get to America, you live in the apartment for a month or 2 months, and then you move. You need a bigger apartment. Well, that's fine. You're allowed to move. This is America. You're not stuck in the same place, but you must notify immigration because it can be construed as avoiding immigration. And you don't want that. That's a big no-no. Okay? Let's suppose in Corinne and I, we get sick and tired of Florida, and we decide we want to move to, I don't know, Texas. Although property taxes are insane in Texas. So let's forget Texas. Let's say we want to move to Nevada. We can move to Nevada, but we have to tell immigration where we've moved to within at least 10 days after we move. Okay. Now, I was a real estate agent in the past, so I know how to sell a house and buy a house without paying all those ridiculous commission fees. So I could sell this house without paying a commission. Easy. I could buy a house from a person in Nevada who's, for sale by owner, so I don't have to pay a real estate agent commission fees. Then all I got to do is pay the legal fees for the title and the deed paperwork. Was that $400 or $500? Not $20,000. But if we move, we're going to tell immigration where we're at. Now, if you are planning on buying a house in the United States, like you said, you're saving up for a mortgage there, Brownie. When you look to buy a house, look for a house that says for sale by owner. For sale by owner, or FSBO. So go into Zillow.com, right? And look for sale by owner houses. And then if you see a house you like, you call the owner, not the real estate agent. So instead of calling the broker or the real estate agent, you call the owner of the property and say, hey, I see you got your house up for sale. Let's negotiate. I like your house. Can I get a tour of it? Sure, come over, check it out. And then the seller, okay, will either do the paperwork him or herself, or get a real estate attorney to draw up the deed paperwork, and that's about $400. And you completely bypass the real estate agent. When I drive down the street and I see all these for sale signs up in the front of people's houses, and it says realtor name on it, broker name on it, I'm like, don't these people realize you don't need a freaking real estate agent to buy a house or sell a house? If I want to sell this house, I can sell it myself. It's easy to do. Okay? If you want a K-1 visa or a green card, you don't need an attorney to do it. Do it yourself. And you're going to save a lot of money. I mean, I've saved people millions of dollars over the last 12 years. Seriously. Hundreds of thousands of dollars I've saved people by teaching them how to file for a K-1 visa or file for a green card without paying an immigration attorney. It's not hard to do, but people get scared of doing paperwork for the Homeland Security. They get scared, which is normal, but you got to overcome that. Don't be afraid of Homeland Security. They're not trying to stop you from getting a green card. They're trying to make sure the relationship is real and you're not trying to commit fraud against the U.S. government. That's all. Nothing else. Okay, guys, I've been talking for an hour. If you want me to help you fill out your green card application, your K-1 visa application, and you don't want to pay an immigration attorney $4,000 or $5,000 to do it, join as a member of this channel for $9.99. Now, it's not that I want your money. I don't care about your $9.99. So what I care about is knowing who's got my phone number and email address. Because once you join as a member, you'll have access to my phone number and my email, and then you can call me and text me whenever you want. Like there was one gentleman had an emergency immigration thing crop up, and he called me because he's a member of this channel, and I saved his green card. I saved him from getting deported. I got 12 years of knowledge. I mean, I can do this in my sleep, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to join as a member, then we'd love to have you, and then you get my phone number and email. But if you just want to hang out on the live stream like this, that's fine too. I mean, that's perfectly fine. No problem. You don't have to pay a dime, okay? But if you want me to help you one-on-one, then it's just join as a member. Okay, guys, the next live stream is what's today? Wednesday? Saturday, right? I think Saturday we'll do a live stream, and hopefully Karina won't be all sore because of her dentist. She was at the dentist today. So Brownie, Diego is the real deal. Just saying. Brownie, you get mega pixie dust. You get the last word, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.